Oh man, sorry. I just finished watching the next movie on the list for this DC animated universe, Son of Batman, and I'm laughing because it's something that's in the movie. I'll explain in a minute. It wasn't even meant to be funny, but it's funny to me. I'll get to that in a second. But we're here to give my take on what I think of the Son of Batman Part Two. Well, Part Three of the DC AU universe. It's Flashpoint, Justice League War, and then Son of Batman happens after Justice League War. So I'm always going to keep this up there every video just so I can see it for a little bit to know how the list goes. Should I? No, I'll wait. I want to share what made me laugh, but we'll get to that in a second. But I'm rewatching, in case you're new to the channel, I'm rewatching every movie. I've seen all these. I have the collection of them, like the Steelbook. I love these movies, but I haven't seen it in a while. And after I saw the 2025 Superman movie, I was just motivated just to watch all these animated ones again. I started with Assault on Arkham, and then I was like, you know what? Let me do this universe next. So that's why I'm here. And I wanted to give my take on, do I still enjoy it like I did the last time? Because I did say it before where Son of Batman was one of my favorites in this universe. And now watching it again, is it better? Is it the same? Or do I like it less? And also, I'm going to break some things down in this movie that I like. My feel for the movie is the same. My feel for this movie is the same. I said it before and I'll say it again. This was one of the best movies in not just this universe, the DCAU universe, the 16 movies I believe it is in here, but I believe in Batman animated movies, period. This is one of the best. DC animated movies, period. This is one of the best. Is it the best? No, I said one of the best, just to be clear. But yeah, the characters that's in here, I always said this. The universe of Batman is always interesting because it's not just him. You know what I'm saying? Batman has a catalog of characters that you care about. That the writing, the development of them makes you care about them. Robin, I mean all the versions of Robin, but this one here, which is his son, which we'll get to that in a second. Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, Deathstroke, who's the main villain, Killer Croc, Alfred, Nightwing. I say this, and I'm not saying it as a big Batman fan, because anybody knows me, they know Batman is my favorite superhero. But this is not coming out of that. This is just being real. I think in all superheroes, DC, Marvel, any other universe out there, Invincible universe, whatever, I don't think anybody has the catalog of characters that you love the way Batman does. Like, I love Superman, but his catalog of people, heroes or villains, is not as big as Batman. Wonder Woman, so on and so forth, Marvel, all that stuff. And there are some that are close. Like, I think like Spider-Man, it's close, but nothing near with Batman. And there's stories too. Like, you get invested even with the smaller characters, Jim Gore and all that stuff. But anyway, I just had to give a shout out to that because watching this again, bro, you just have enjoyment watching not just Batman go to work, but even Ra's al Ghul. There's a moment in Ra's al Ghul has in the beginning of this movie that you're like, dang, that was good. That was intense. The setup for it. Like I said, whoever be making these animated movies do a great job with action setup, with life and death situation setups, the villain, the small comedy little eggs they throw in there, because it's very small, and I like that. They don't overdo it, but they take serious matters seriously. Batman, obviously, the relationship between Batman, Nightwing, and Alfred, so on and so forth, they do it so well. You love every character, and the movies usually show you why you love them, even if they're there for just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. But for those who don't know the story, Batman gets a surprise from Talia al Ghul. Talia al Ghul visits Batman as he's fighting crime, at night, as he always does. And he gets a surprise visit from Talia. And she's like, I need your help with something. We need your help with something. He's like, we? He's thinking Ra's al Ghul, or he's thinking like, who the heck are you talking about we? She's like, me and this little fella over here in this corner. And the one coming out of the corner is his son, Damian, who... I want to break this down a little bit more, but I love how Damian is, and not just this movie, but in the future with this universe, with these 16 movies. The character of Damian is done very well. Voice acting done very well, and so on and so forth. But Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul, gets ambushed by Deathstroke. Deathstroke turns his back on the League of Assassins. He wants to get his payback on Ra's for something that Ra's did. You can see the movie for that. I don't want to spoil it. And something happens where Talia's like, okay, I'm going to take you out of here. She's talking about her son. I got to take you out of here and introduce you to your father. And Damian knew he always had a father. Batman never knew. So when Talia introduced him to Batman, he was like, how did... Oh, and there was a moment, and it's pretty big. Should I spoil it? Let's just say there's something that happens to Batman where him and Talia have a child. Outside of the normal way of having a child, there's something in between that. You can see the movie for what that is. But yeah, so now it starts this whole journey of father and son while Talia al Ghul is trying to fix the situation with her and Ra's al Ghul and Deathstroke, and now Batman is trying to teach Damian, Robin, who becomes Robin later, how to function in the real world. Because if y'all remember, sorry, there was something that happened outside to make sure everybody was all right. What was I? Oh, so yeah, Damian is being taught by Batman how to function in the real world. Because Damian has nothing but hatred, and he's built by Ra's al Ghul. He is literally who Ra's al Ghul always wanted Batman to be. If you know the history of Bruce Wayne Batman with Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul, you know the motivation they had with him. And since that didn't work, Batman's not going to do what the League of Assassins do. They're killers. Is birthed and trained into Damian. But now with this killer mentality being with Batman, Batman's teaching him the ways of revenge. But that leads to a lot of chaos, which then leads to Damian meeting Nightwing, and they have a cool experience. Damian has this heart of revenge and for something that happened in the beginning of the movie. And it causes a lot of chaos with Batman to try to keep it in order. Because one, yes, he's been a father figure like to Nightwing, Batgirl, because they're in this universe, Nightwing and Batgirl. He's never had one like this. A fully trained assassin, a fully trained killer at 12, 13 years old. This one's different. Dick Grayson, Barbara, he can train them and build them up. You know, Dick Grayson learned how to fight through Batman, but he was never built as a killer. So he started from the ground up. Barbara, same way. Damian comes in as a killer, and Batman has to deal with that as Damian's trying to get on this crazy revenge journey. And it's cool how the writers did it, where you know Batman is understanding because of a situation that happened in this movie why Damian is the way he is, with this revenge journey that he's in, but also he's letting them know that, okay, no, we can't do that here. But the movie does a great job in asking the question for us viewers, is Damian going to listen? So it becomes that of a movie while Deathstroke has his agenda going on as well with something that happened in the beginning of the movie. So Batman now has to watch Gotham, watch his son who he just met the day before, and figure out what's going on with Deathstroke. Like, what is Deathstroke up to? Because anybody knows Deathstroke, it ain't as simple as he's just sent to kill someone. He has a bigger plot going on. And it's done very well. I love the art design with Deathstroke. The voice acting for Deathstroke was really good. I think this was the best, maybe, from my memory, the best voice acting for Deathstroke. Like an hour, I think the movie's like an hour and a half. It's not overstuffed. The action is done very well. The attitude of Damian makes sense, and it fits to where, yes, he's rebellious, but it's not annoying. And what I mean by that is every situation, he's just disobedient, rebellious, always trying to kill someone. No, there are moments where he really second guesses some things. And there's moments to where Batman sets him straight. Because, yes, he's being kind because that's his son and it's a child. But Batman's smart. He knows where he came from. And so he's like, okay, Robin's not going to respond to me, or Damian's not going to respond to me the way Dick Grayson would. So I got to go about this a little differently with him. As a matter of fact, wear the Robin suit. You're going to be Robin and join me in this journey. I'm leading, though. And I like that presence that Batman brings. He is understanding the fact that this is a child, but he's also like, this is serious business. These people are here to kill you, but we don't kill, and you're going to have to get over it. I like that. I like the attitude he brings. He just wasn't a Batman. Wasn't a pushover. Like, oh, that's my son, and emotional, weak. No, he was a strong man, had to stand his ground. Where he's understanding, but you're still not going to do the opposite of what I say. And I like that. Now, when it comes to the characters, I don't have to say much for Batman because I kind of said it for the Justice League Wars, the same voice actor. The presence he give as the Dark Knight, like it was a scene where he was walking in Arkham, and the reverence he had just walking down the aisle. The situation he had when he was interrogating a villain, the respect Jim Gordon gave. You could tell the reverence is there with Batman. I love that. Some Batman movies, it doesn't fit. Not some, excuse me. There are a couple that don't fit. It's like the writing for it, the atmosphere, the villains. Where's the reverence at for the Batman? Here, you could tell like, oh, he has laid his foundation and not just Gotham, Arkham Asylum with other people, Jim Gordon, the respect for each other they had. And they did a good job showcasing how you look at Damian and his attitude and you look at Bruce and you're like, yeah, I think, I think that is your son. Even Batman was like, there's no doubt. That is me. That's me all the way. And I thought they did a good job with that. Nightwing, for the little bit that he was in there, it was enjoyable. I always say he's an underrated hero. He doesn't get a lot of attention. But the little bit he is in here, the moment he had with Damian, it was like the introduction of Nightwing introduces him and Damian meeting up for the first time, and their interaction was pretty funny, but also pretty cool at the same time. Alfred was done well. The ones that really stuck out to me was Talia and Deathstroke. Well, I'm sorry, Talia, Damian, and Deathstroke. I already talked about Damian, but actually I want to go more into him. One thing I also liked was his royalty attitude. What I mean by that is Ra's al Ghul raised him to be the next in line to take Ra's al Ghul's spot. So he already had that, I want this, and Alfred, you're going to do this, and watch your tone, and all, like, but it was done right. It wasn't cringy or nothing like that. And the way he was in Wayne Manor, he surprised Bruce Wayne by being in the office talking about, the numbers ain't adding up here. And he's like, what you talking about? This is my inheritance. This is going to be my inheritance. So we need to get some stuff situated here. Bruce just looking at him like, who do you think you are? You only been here a day. Like, relax. But it worked. And the way it was written, the way it was set up was done very well. And I like that. One thing, and actually, I'm going to talk about Damian and Deathstroke here, because this is what I was laughing about. The fighting sequences that Damian has is very unrealistic, but I tell people this all the time. These are superhero, non-realistic characters, so get over it. But Damian has a lot of moments, like when he fought this big old 7-foot, 300-pound dude with blades in his hand. Damian is knocking him out. And it was a cool action scene. But if you look at it, you're like, this 12-year-old is doing this? Like, one punch that Damian blocks should make Damian fly across the room. But it doesn't happen. But to be real, I enjoyed every bit of it. I was like, dang, that was brutal. Dang, that was sick. Because that's one thing, too. The action here is much more brutal than the Justice League War. A lot of sword, slice, like a lot of sword battles in here. So a lot of blood, sword sticking through the chest and all that stuff, head being cut off. And Damian cut no corners. And that was the one thing I did notice and liked. Even though he was fighting big dudes and there were moments where I was like, you're too small to do that. But I do like some other parts that the writers had where he was more strategic with his battles, where if you're a big guy, he's trying to take your legs out with his sword. He's trying to go at your sensitive spots. He did that sometimes, and I actually enjoyed that. Now, when it comes to Deathstroke, and I want to talk about him a little bit more, but I just want to get to him and Damian real quick. There's a battle that Deathstroke and Damian has, or Robin, whatever you want to call him, that made me laugh because I ain't gonna front. I don't know if the writers just did Deathstroke dirty or Damian's just that dude. Because there was moments in this battle where Damian was just straight up embarrassed at Deathstroke. And it's like, this is Deathstroke, right? Mind you, this is a mature Deathstroke. Older, more advanced, all that stuff. And he was getting embarrassed by a 12-year-old. I was laughing. I was like, dang, you gonna let him do that to you? Like, I was saying that while I was watching the movie. I'm like, you gonna let him do that to you? You get embarrassed? Like, every time, and I kid you not, Every time Deathstroke had an advantage against Damian, it was a battle they had in the beginning, and it was a battle they had at the end. Every time he had an advantage against Damian, Damian always had something to counter it. And then Damian's talking trash, all this stuff, and I'm like, dang, bro. Deathstroke, I was just tightly spoiling. Deathstroke pushed Damian off the ledge. Damian's falling. He gets his grappling hook and grapples his Deathstroke's chest and pulls him down. Every time it seemed like Deathstroke had the upper hand, Damian is just bouncing back. And I like that with Damian. Like I said, I like how when he's trained as someone who's trained by the League of Assassins, and then he explains to Batman the kind of training he had. It makes sense when you see Damian fight like this. Like Damian had his arm broken, and it didn't matter. He flipped. He didn't hesitate. He didn't panic. He didn't scream in pain. He just threw the sword to the other arm. Let's do this. I like that attitude. It was just funny to see him do it to Deathstroke, because if you know Deathstroke, you know how crazy deadly he is. But I guess in this one, it was like, nah, you better be glad Deathstroke Damian is a 12-year-old, because if he was a grown man, you are dead. Because even as a kid, there was moments I'm like, yeah, you got away with one there, Deathstroke. You got away with one. But I love the battle sequence. It just made me laugh as a person who loves Deathstroke to see him get smacked around by a 12-year-old. Like, Deathstroke is sweating, fighting hard against a child. And like it's unrealistic, but it's a superhero movie. But it was still funny to look at, and it was done well to where it was entertaining. It made me laugh, but I was entertained all the way through with those fights. But now with Deathstroke, outside of that, I liked and disliked him in here. Love his character build, love his voice acting, some of the choreography. But he was more of a punching bag this one, outside of Damian too, and more of a coward than I'm used to seeing him as. Like, there's a scene he has where he's supposed to be one-on-one with Ra's al Ghul, and he cowers out. There was a couple coward moments where I'm like, Deathstroke, really? It's like, come on, brother, what you doing? But overall, how the character, like I said, the character build was cool. It was just how he was written. Outside of the Damian fight, he had, like, Batman, he had no chance against Batman. Like, usually they're close to even, and then Batman usually has the upper advantage at the end. But the moment those two met each other, Batman, it wasn't even close. The only time he felt dominant when he surprised Talia al Ghul. And that was it. And then some random civilians, which, you're so big and bad. But, yeah, so it was like a love-hate thing in this one, how Deathstroke was. Some moments I was like, he was cool. Other moments I'm like, Talia al Ghul is done just right. It's very well. Very focused on her mission, but also very sexy. The wonderful voice acting for the relationship between her and Batman. You could tell the fire is still there. But she was written very well, where like, okay, this is Ra's al Ghul's daughter. She is not going to go on Batman's side. She still wants him to be on her side, but she's not going to flip. Sorry, it's hot in here. I need to turn on the air. You could tell she loves him still, but the mission is the mission. That relationship between Batman and Catwoman and Batman and Talia al Ghul, I feel for it, because he got two fine ladies, and he's like, at one moment he's falling in love with Talia, but then something always happens to mess it up. He falls in love with Selena Kyle, and something always happens to mess it up. It's like, bro, goodness gracious, can he have a love life with one of them? But that has no issues. But anyway, Alfred was there a little bit, but the moment he was there was pretty cool. His interaction with Damian, I thought, was pretty funny. Let him know, like, look, I ain't no regular butler here. I'm family. You ain't gonna talk to me any kind of way. Even his smart aleck tone back to Damian, I thought was cool. Even how he was talking to Dick Grayson a little bit like a father figure. I love Alfred as one character in the Batman universe. Every time I watch a show, a movie, I always hope they get Alfred right. And so far, I don't think my memory to the crowd, I don't think I've ever been disappointed with Alfred. But yes, action, beautiful. They said this is the same art style as Justice League War, and as I said, in Justice League War, the art style there is wonderful, and they keep it up. This whole universe, all 16 movies are the same. Outside of no, all of them are the same, so it's going to be the same with that. But yeah, a great Batman movie. Definitely go check it out. Entertaining. The characters are very well done. Like I said, Deathstroke was like here and there. But overall, very good movie. A great Batman movie. This is a continuation after Justice League War. And then I believe after that is Justice League, the Atlantis one with Aquaman. I think. I gotta double check. But yeah, if I had to rate it, I gave Justice League War a 9 out of 10. I would give this 8 out of 10. I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Alright, well, let me know what you think in the comments below. What is your favorite Batman animated movie? For me, it's still Mask of the Phantasm. I like Under the Red Hood as well. But Mask of the Phantasm is my favorite. Alright, I'll see y'all later.